Hello, everyone. All right, is my mic working? Are we good on TikTok? Are we good on YouTube? I'm gonna guess good on both. Hello, Rochelle. Hello. All right, we're good. Okay. Awesome sauces, awesome sauces. All right, guys, I don't typically get on here this late and do updates, but we got some serious stuff we got to talk about here. This is not a severe weather outlook on your screen. This is a rainfall outlook, so I want to go ahead and clarify that now before everybody starts flipping out and thinking they're in a moderate risk and a slight risk for severe weather. This is for rainfall. So we've got a pretty dangerous and significant night tonight across southeast Texas where we could see some significant catastrophic flooding if things go the wrong way. I've got a deep breakdown here that I want to talk about for my Texas people. This is really going to be more of a conversation for our Texas people. I'll do a brief overrun of kind of what we're going to see over the next couple of weeks here in a few minutes once we kind of get through this. But this is our WPC hydrological outlook. Basically gives us our risk zones for flooding. So though these risk zones go 1 to 4 in terms of flooding, it goes marginal, it goes slight, and then it goes moderate, and then it goes high. Currently, right now, we're sitting at a level 3 out of 4. I do think that this wasn't updated more than, I think this was updated last time was 23Z, so we're talking around 5 to 6 p.m. was the last time this updated. So currently, my idea right now is this is actually supposed to be in the Houston area, and I'm going to talk about why that is here in just a minute. But right now, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning down here into north of San Antonio, and this might actually be attempting to potentially produce a tornado almost. That might actually get tornado warned here soon, legitimately. Alrighty, well, that's not good. So we do have that we have to watch. If you're north of San Antonio, Texas, this is for Interstate 10 here, Hollywood Park, Gray Forest. I'm going to guess the word is helotes. I'm going to probably get that one wrong, but we need to watch this. This could get a potential tornado warning on it here in just a few minutes. Thank you, babe. Yeah, 60 mile per hour winds here for northwestern Bexar County here in south central Texas. If you are in this warning here, be mindful. This could actually be trying to produce a tornado here pretty soon. We're going to have to watch that. What I wanted to get on here for is to talk about the flooding. Currently right now, WPC has an outlined moderate risk here for flash flooding through tonight and through tomorrow morning. You can see rainfall rates of, I'm guessing 4 to 5 inches, maybe 4 to 8 inches of rainfall in this area. I think those numbers are a little bit off of kind of from what we've seen through the evening hours here and through getting into tonight here. I want to talk about what we're going to be seeing in terms of the flash flooding right here tonight. I'm going to go to some of these model runs. Let's switch over here. All right, let's go to our run here. This is going to kind of show us an idea. Once again, if you are in south central Texas, you need to be watching it very, very closely here. Yeah, that's what I was getting. I'm going to get to. Some of these model runs, guys, are alarming, a quite alarming number here. I think the HER model and some of these models are a little bit over, or a lot of bit over, hopefully overestimating on some of these rainfall totals, because with some of these numbers I'm going to show you guys are not good. So here's an idea of what we could be looking at reflectivity tonight. Showers and storms developing, lots of storms. I will mention some of these can produce tornadoes tonight. Some of these can produce wind. Some of these can produce hail. So if you're in Houston, Huntsville, College Station, the Woodlands, Columbus, Victoria, anywhere in these circled areas here, we could see an isolated local tornado threat develop later on tonight. I wouldn't be shocked to see a couple tornado warnings be issued. And then what's going to happen as through around 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, this is where it starts to get really, really bad for the Houston area. Heavy, heavy rainfall falling. I want you guys to understand it takes about 1 to 3 inches of rainfall to flood Houston and San Antonio and some of these bigger cities, because you're in Texas. Texas doesn't typically soak up a lot of this rainfall. So, getting, even 6 to 7 inches of rainfall within a 6 to 12 hour period is not good. So, this is through 7 a.m. kind of what reflectivity is showing. Here we go. Hold on. More storms. This doesn't even clear out of the Houston area until 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I mean, we're talking at least 12 to 15 hours of just rainfall in the Houston metro area, if that, before things weaken out tomorrow. Some of these rainfall totals coming in, at least this is the 03Z HER that just updated, actually. I mean, I don't even know what to say with some of these numbers here. 8 inches of rain, if not a little bit higher than that, outside of Houston tonight. We could be looking at a catastrophic situation. If these models are right tonight and they do verify, we could be looking at a very different picture tomorrow morning as the sun rises up and as some of these roads become what's the word? Available to use, I guess is the word. I don't know how much more available these roads are going to be able to use after this, but Some of these totals are ridiculous. I want you guys to understand here, when you've got a heavy rainfall event like this, a lot of these totals are going to be potentially off. So like Lake Jackson, I think you're going to get more than 1.6 inches. Galveston, you're going to get more than 1.4 inches. A lot of these areas, I think, are going to be in that 3 to 5 inch range. And then there will be some areas of 5 to 8, 8 to 10. And then, you know, you get your occasional situation here where you could see 12 inches or higher of rainfall. So, like I said, guys, model runs struggle with these type of situations on overestimating and underestimating. What I'm getting at is, if you're in Houston, if you're in San Antonio, if you're in some of these areas tonight, you need to be weather aware. Like I said, flash flooding is going to be the biggest threat. On, you know, the tornado threat, the wind threat, the hail threat will be there minorly, but the flooding threat is going to be overall what is going to cause problems tonight. Like I said, the WPC doesn't issue these moderate risk zones and these higher up risk zones for no reason. So personally, I think Houston needs to be under a moderate risk, but right now, like I said, that's not at what we're looking at here as of right now. So, you know, Southwest Houston, 14 inches of rainfall between now and 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That would be catastrophic. A foot of rainfall in a 12-hour period it's 1 inch of rainfall per hour, if that. And some of this will probably come in bulks of rainfall. So, you know, we could be looking at rainfall totals of 2 to 3 inches an hour. You know, 4 inches an hour of rainfall. It's just, like I said, I don't know what to say with this. This would just not be a good situation here. I cannot talk tonight for the love of anything. Let me just look at some of these other model runs here. NAM 3K, you know, it's going to be a little bit iffy, but still, regardless of that, has a pretty big chunk of rainfall up and down this area here. So just kind of moves the heavier rainfall to the west. I don't really agree with that necessarily. We don't have a tornado warning in. Did we finally get one? We did just get one. Yep. Babe, we need to get Meg up. We need to get her up, because this is going into downtown San Antonio. We need to get her up if she is awake, because I don't have her phone number, please. If somebody on the team can get that. This is going into downtown. Let me see if I can get her. Hold on, guys. Yeah, see if you can get a hold of her for me, babe, because she wasn't answering mine. Alrighty, guys, we got a tornado warning in San Antonio, Texas, in the middle of the night. Sorry, guys, we're trying to handle something here. Give me just a second.
flash flood warning has been issued.
All right, guys. Sorry, I was trying to make sure one of our friends was awake. We had to like spam call their phone. One of our people on our weather team was in this warning. So yes, guys, we currently have a tornado warning in San Antonio, Texas. This is legit. So this is moving its way into the city here. I'll get back to the rainfall and all that crap here in just a minute. We're gonna get through this first. Once again, if you were in Leon Valley, Shavano Park, you guys are in this warning here. This is the western side of San Antonio. We were talking about this a few minutes ago before I got warned. I was like, hey, they're going to warn this. So, we're going to stay on this warning here until this expires. Once again, this is the only tornado warning we've got right now, guys. It's just this storm here. So it's going to be moving its way southeast. So rotation is going to be right along Highway 16 here, headed into Leon Valley. So if you guys are in this warning, once again, please be in your safe place. Bexar County. We'll go back and we'll look at the reflectivity on this thing. This is a very impressive supercell. This thing got itself together very quickly. I'm not seeing any debris, so that's some good news. Most of that's clean air. So once again, guys, radar indicated tornado warning here right now. Is it Bexar County? Is it Bexar? Okay. So, guys, the tornado threat and the severe weather threat's not the only issue tonight. We've got a significant flash flooding threat across south central Texas tonight that we've got to talk about. That's what I'm mostly on here for, but we're going to cover this because we got tornadoes, so why not? Thank you guys for the pronunciations. I knew I was going to mess up something tonight with this. So, once again, tornado warning in effect here. We've got about 14 minutes left on this warning here. Where that tornado would be potentially in progress at, it's going to be in this area here between Leon Valley and along Highway 16 here is where this is at. I cannot talk today. Jeez. So, this is going to be heading southeast into the city where the rotation is at. But right now, it looks like we might see a little bit of weakening in our inflow. So, very strong outflow winds. Very strong. Very weak inflow winds. So, this should hopefully not last too long. We'll see. Yeah, excuse me, y'all. Shivano Park is to the east of the rotation, but still be in your safe place. Thought I had my speaker set up on here. There we go. Once again, guys, this is a radar indicated tornado warning in effect here for the west side of San Antonio, Texas. This is valid for the next 12 minutes. 12:15 Central Time is when this expires. If you are in this area here, Bexar County, make sure you're in your safe place, the west side. This is not an observed tornado. This is a radar-indicated tornado warning, meaning there is rotation. There is no observed tornado in progress right now. That can change, though. So once again, this is going to be crossing, or basically riding Highway 16 into Leon Valley very slowly. I'll get to other areas, guys, once this tornado warning expires. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, so I'm glad we got on here when we got on here. I would have felt bad if I didn't get this in. Yeah, guys, you need to be seeking shelter in a radar-indicated tornado or observed. That's how you get yourself killed, because a lot of the times during the night when it's rain-wrapped and it's nighttime, they're not going to get an observed tornado warning most of the times because there's either not chasers on it this late at night or it's rain-wrapped and it's nighttime and you're not going to see it. So the one time you don't take a radar-indicated tornado warning seriously, the one time it'll cost you your life. Take them all seriously. It does not matter if it's radar-indicated or not. No need to be rude to my weather team in the chat, guys. If you're going to be rude, you're going to get muted and blocked. That simple. I don't care if you lived in this area all of your life or not. Things can happen. All right. So once again, pretty decent rotation here. Very strong outflow winds. So we're at least getting 60-mile-per-hour winds out of the back of this supercell thunderstorm here. Inflow has weakened a little bit, which is good. So we'll see if this continues to weaken. That's the biggest thing. Yep. So once again, west side of San Antonio, Texas here in this tornado warning, guys. Got about 10 minutes left on it. Yeah, a lot of the times, like I said, during the nighttime, especially this late at night, radar-indicated tornado warnings could be observed and we don't even know because we don't have storm chasers out there, we don't have spotters out there, and it's in the middle of the night and it's rain-wrapped probably. There's a lot of rain in these areas, so anybody that gets the chance to see a tornado tonight, or if there are any tornadoes tonight, most of them are going to be rain-wrapped. You're not going to see them with a naked eye whatsoever. Not even a trained spotter is going to be able to see it. No, it's not confirmed right now, guys. Radar indicated. San Antonio is also in a flash flooding event right now as well. That's gonna be our biggest story tonight, guys. If you live in the Houston area, we're gonna have some issues tonight. I'm gonna talk about that here in a few minutes once this warning expires or once we get this thing out of here. They'll probably do. Let's see here. Do we get to watch this one behind it? We have to watch the one to the west of it here. It definitely still looks to be rotating, so we'll see if they do a blanket warning on it. Yeah, there's going to be some wind with this, guys. There is 60-mile-per-hour winds. There's a severe thunderstorm warning on top of this. So most of your wind and most of your hail is going to be back up here on the northern side of the storm. Where the tornado is at is where that little hook echo is embedded at. So right here, if there is a tornado, there's not a tornado on the ground right now. But if there was one, that's where it would be at, where your rotation is at. But the warning is out for a rotation, meaning it could be on the ground soon. Hopefully that's not the case, though. Got about 8 minutes left on this warning here. We'll see if they do a blanket. Yep, so once again, west side of San Antonio. Hopefully this is not the start of a long night tonight. Usually when we get one, they come in waves, and I don't like that. I could see them doing a blanket warning on this. It's not moving. It's stationary. It's legitimately stationary. It's just hanging out along Highway 16. So I'll answer everybody's questions once this warning expires. Guys, warnings come first. I've got the weather team in chat answering questions, so make sure y'all respect they'll be answering the questions for you guys. They're going to tell y'all the same exact thing that I'm going to tell you. Is there going to be... No, guys, there's not going to be... As of right now, there is not a confirmed tornado in San Antonio. I can't say if there's going to be one or not. Given what we're seeing, though, they're going to probably issue another warning. We'll see here. We'll see. By the way, Gabriel, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Thank you guys for all the gifts. I appreciate it.
A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued.
There we go. Nope, we're here, Nicole. We're here. I'm glad I got on when I did get on because I would have felt bad not being awake for this one. Yep, so we're still seeing some very strong outflow winds here. The inflow couplet that was helping rotate this thing is still pretty weak. Like I said, I'm not the NWS in Houston, or not in Houston, but in San Antonio, so I can't, say if they're going to issue a tornado warning or not, but it looks like they might. Just kind of given what we're seeing with radar velocity. Guys, I also did post a video a few minutes ago before I got on. It's an 8-minute video kind of explaining what the deal is for tonight. So if you just need to know whether you got going on, you guys can rewatch that video. It's fresh. It's brand new. It's like 20 minutes old. If you need that information, go watch that. That's the latest video I just posted. We're going to still talk about everything before. We will probably get a new tornado warning up here now. This is going to be east of Spring Branch. We've got rotation developing on this storm. So this seems to be like we're going to have a common theme with this tonight. And I'm not liking the way this is looking. Yep. We're going to get a new tornado warning just outside of New Braunfels and San Marcos next, potentially here. We got 4 minutes left on the tornado warning that is outside of the west side of San Antonio right now currently. I'm waiting to see if we're going to get a new one. Either a new one and then a new one to the north. Yeah, that should be warned. When the warning expires, you're good. You have to stay, you need to be in your safe place once the warning is issued, and that's until the warning expires. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for a new one to be issued. Okay, well, they did let that one expire, so we no longer have a tornado warning. It has expired. That is good. I still want to continue to watch that for rotation. I also want to watch the northern storm up here for rotation as well. All right, so we'll keep an update on that. It does, like I said, look to be the rotation on this storm is weakening, so that's good. All right, I want to talk to you guys. Well, I've got a chance to talk to you guys about what the main threat's going to be. If you live in the southern Texas area tonight, guys, we could be looking at a very significant flooding event tonight. That's what I got on here to talk about, besides that tornado warning happening in San Antonio a few minutes ago. Houston, really this area right here is my most concern for significant flooding tonight. I know that WPC has the higher risk back up here in Austin and Waco. I think that's a little bit misplaced personally, given the model runs that we're getting tonight. I'm going to be honest when I tell you guys this. We have some models that are showing 12 to 24 inches of rainfall in the Houston metro area tonight through tomorrow afternoon. If that type of a situation happens, that would be clearly catastrophic. We do not want that. That would be really, 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 really bad, and it would basically put all of Houston underwater. Y'all have seen your flooding events in Houston. Y'all know what that looks like. I don't really have to show that. Luckily, that's one of our most exaggerating model runs in terms of overestimating rainfall totals right now. So right now, I believe the Houston area could see anywhere from, 5 to maybe 15, maybe 16 inches on the high end of rainfall tonight. We're going to kind of walk through the model runs, talk about that here. We do already have a flash flood warning here for the west side of San Antonio up towards Blanco for 1 to 2 inch rainfall totals between 30 minutes. So when flash flood warnings come out for Texas, guys, like I said, you see these, these green boxes here. 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in 30 minutes is not good, and we're not done tonight. We are going to see lots and lots of rainfall tonight in and across southeast Texas here. Like I said, yes, the tornado warning did expire, guys. The tornado warning is good. If we get any more updates, or any more warnings, we'll be here for that clearly. But I want to get back to what I was talking about here, and these are these dadgum rainfall totals. I mean, once again, just kind of looking at some of these totals here, let me go back to the latest. Let's see if our new HER is coming in. Yeah, this is not good. This is not numbers that we want to see. Shifting these numbers all the way around the place here. Let me go back to the O3Z here. Yeah, so the latest HER model run that we have updated, the O3Z, has anywhere from 5 to about 15 inches of rainfall in the next 12 hours for Houston, Texas. That is catastrophic, guys. For my Houston people that are in here, y'all know that is flooding. That's significantly bad flooding. It takes about 3 inches of rainfall, 4 or 5 inches on roadways in the Houston metro area, if less than that, to cause significant flooding. And that's within a given 1 day period. If we end up verifying these model runs tonight, and we get 8+ inches of rainfall in and around the Houston metro area and in downtown Houston, you guys are going to be waking up to floating cars and people not being able to go anywhere tomorrow. So my biggest thing, guys, is to advise, if you work tomorrow, if you have things going on tomorrow morning, potentially try and cancel those plans if you're able to. I know work is hard too, but the biggest thing as I preach to people is with these type of flooding events, turn around, don't drown. If the water looks like it's too low or it looks like it's low to your standard, it may not be that. There may be roadways underneath of that completely washed out. It doesn't take much to wash a roadway out. We've seen that happen. We've seen our fair share of flooding here in our backyard here in Kentucky. We know what that is. I've got, my whole family and friends went through Helene back in North Carolina, so I can tell you guys, flooding is not something you want to mess with. I would rather have a severe weather risk than a flooding risk. And when you see these numbers that we're seeing tonight across the state of Texas for flooding, this is not good. This is not 1 to 3 day total rainfall events. This is between now and lunchtime tomorrow that these rainfall totals are going to accumulate. Like I said, we could see significant flooding here, anywhere from 5 to 8 inches of rainfall in some areas. You really go with some of these model runs. We can go back to the OOZ here where the kind of the apocalyptic one came out. The OOZ run had about 20 something inches of rainfall between Columbus and Houston tonight, and that's within a 12-hour period. I don't think we're going to get those numbers. That would be just I would be shocked. I would be shocked beyond words if something like that happened. So we'll have to kind of watch the situation here with that. I want to show you guys the radar because this is what's really important. Kind of give you guys an idea of what we're going to be seeing tonight. And like I said, showers and storms are already ongoing. You guys are going to be, unless you can sleep through thunderstorms, this is what it's going to look like between midnight tonight, that is now, through about 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. So within an 8-hour period, this is what's going to happen tonight. We've got supercells, a line of thunderstorms. There are going to be the chance for embedded tornadoes in these areas tonight, Houston being one of those. That is not what I meant to do. We're going to have to watch Victoria, Columbus, any of these areas tonight where these storms initiate. Clearly, we just had a tornado warning in San Antonio at midnight tonight. We're going to have to watch out for this. So not only the flooding threat, not only the isolated tornado threat, there will be a wind threat, there will be a hail threat. It's just going to be a really, really loud night, and it's going to be a gross night if you're in and around South Central Texas tonight. So most of these storms are pushing out by around lunchtime, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then they weaken tremendously. Louisiana will get some storms. Let's just take a look at the updraft helicity here. And yeah, we've got some tornado potential. Like I said, in these areas here, if some of these model runs are right. Let me see if the O4Z is showing. It's not good. I don't like to see those little dots there. I don't like that. There's just a lot of stuff going on here. If the O4Z is right, this would put less rainfall in Houston, more rainfall down here. So the models are changing a lot. The biggest point, like I said, guys, is going to be the flooding. It's flooding. It's flooding. Waco, Killeen, Round Rock, Austin, San Marcos, anybody in this viewing area here that's on the screen, you guys have got to be weather aware. Watch your creeks and streams. Watch your roadways. Please, please, guys, I'm begging this out of everything. You can believe me or not believe me in this situation. Please don't drive through flooded roadways. If it looks like the water's super low, like I said, according to your standard, don't risk it. Find another way to go around or just stay home. I mean, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is, or today is Thursday. I know people will have to work, but is it worth risking your life at the end of the day to drive through flooded roadways? Probably not. So hopefully we wake up tomorrow morning and this is not the type of scene we're seeing, but WPC has got a moderate risk and a slight risk for significant flash flooding. The models are showing at least 5 inches of rainfall in and around the Houston area, and outside of that we could see higher numbers. And then we're going to have, like I said, the severe weather threat on top of that here in terms of what these models are putting out. So let me go back to our radar here for just a second. And I'll pull this up here. Dallas, you're in a level 2, slight risk for flash flooding tonight. We could see some flash flooding as rainfall moves its way north through the morning hours here. You've got a lot of rain off around in the area here, to your west. Killeen, you guys are seeing a lot of rainfall in the area here. I want to go back to these storms. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure that was the first tornado warning I think I've ever covered in San Antonio, Texas this year. Now that I think about it. So that was interesting. Still got some areas of some weak rotation that we need to watch out for with embedded clusters of storms here. But other than that, like I said, very, very low in threat. So let me go over to SPC. I'll kind of show you guys as well what we're looking at here for tonight. This is the latest SPC guidance. They only have a level 1 risk out of 5. So we're not expecting a big time tornado risk tonight. We're not expecting a big wind threat. We're not expecting a big hail threat. But a couple tornadoes are possible. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, maybe 70 in some isolated spots, and then the 1 to 2 inch hail. And then, like I said, the flooding is going to be the biggest thing. So if you are in Waco, Austin, San Antonio, you guys are in a tornado risk tonight. So that warning that we just had makes sense. You're in a 2% tornado risk down here, Houston, Waco, Austin, San Antonio, Lufkin, area, not Lufkin, San Marcos, in the New Braunfels. And then we've got a 5% wind and a 5% hail as well down here. So like I said, everything is expected. If we look at some of our other models, let me go. Jenny Purr, what are you doing? Oh, hold on guys, sorry. She is so needy. It's every time I'm on stream that she does this. Come here. Should I go move my plants? Like I said, if your plants don't need that much water, I would bring them in. Absolutely. If you're concerned about anything outside becoming swamped in water, I would absolutely do that. For my people that live in these areas, you guys know it floods easily. If we get more than 5 inches of rainfall in any of these areas tonight, it's going to flood. If we get more than 3 inches of rainfall in these areas, it's going to flood. We've already seen saturated ground levels here. These are the newest rainfall totals that are coming in on the O4Z. Like I said, it puts Houston barely seeing anything now, and it puts the higher numbers down here. So these models are going to shift these rainfall totals every single hour that they update because of the storms that are ongoing in the area right now. That's how these models work. So what I'm getting at, guys, is regardless of what the models are outputting, if you're in a risk for flash flooding tonight for much of South Central Texas and through tomorrow morning, you just need to be weather aware. Like I said, don't drive through flooded roadways. Don't, turn around. Just be smart, guys. Be very, very smart. We see a lot of times that people try to test the waters in their cars, and then their cars stall out in about 1 to 2 inches of water, and then you're floating and you're stranded. So do not do that. It takes 1 to 2 inches of water on the road standing still to stall your car out. It does not take much. So like I said, hopefully some of these totals do not verify tonight and we don't get anything on that end of things. But I do think we're going to wake up tomorrow morning and see some pretty significant rainfall totals for you guys out there. So no more tornado warnings. The tornado warning in San Antonio did expire. That is a good thing. We'll take that. So, do I have any questions on anything in terms of flooding before I kind of move on here? I want to make sure I get some questions answered for you guys. I'm not usually on this late, guys, so y'all should feel lucky. I made a video for my Texas people tonight, and I'm on here talking about you guys, so I got y'all covered. Yeah, Houston's going to be one of those interesting spots where we're going to have to kind of just watch and see where storms, train at. If you get put under a thunderstorm and it doesn't move, which a lot of these are going to be slow moving, and you pick up 1, 2, 3 inches of rain an hour, that is going to be bad. That is going to be catastrophic in some areas that see flooding significantly. So, like I said, I think we're going to wake up tomorrow and I think we're going to see somebody see a foot of rainfall. I'm hoping that's not the case, but that's kind of what the models are trending towards. So we'll kind of go from there. But it's going to be all night, guys. It's going to be an all-night event here. So, like I said, here's kind of the overall look at the radar. It is all night long, just showers and thunderstorms. There is a chance for a couple tornadoes. I mean, Houston looks to get rocked between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. is going to be kind of the magic hour there. So, as people are driving, like I said, you look at these totals and you're like, yeah, what are we going to get? Like I said, the QPF is going to be quite all over the board here. But here's just an estimate here. There's not going to be a radar hole in Columbus. There shouldn't be, but this would be kind of some of the model runs that we're getting in right now. So Central Texas is going to be mostly okay. I'll take a look here for just a quick second. Yeah, Dallas is going to be fine. They could see some showers and storms up and down here, 1 to 3 inches of rainfall, maybe 3 plus in some local areas. But the main threat's going to be down towards the Gulf, or near the Gulf down here. So Waco and south of that area is going to be the higher threats for that heavier rainfall. So I do briefly, guys, for just a minute, while I've got some other people in here, for just a quick second, I want to talk about tomorrow's severe weather threat because it is interesting. We do have another severe weather threat tomorrow. This is actually going to update from SPC here in about 30 minutes, but we actually have 2 areas to watch tomorrow. A marginal risk back up into the plains, and then another marginal risk for Texas all the way up into the Ozarks, up to the Missouri Boot Hill, and into potentially the lower Ohio Valley vicinity tomorrow. So marginal risk at play tomorrow. Wouldn't be shocked to see an upgrade to a level 2 slight risk. The biggest thing is going to be the tornado risk tomorrow, guys. We've actually got a pretty decent tornado risk tomorrow. 2% up here in Minnesota, back up into eastern Nebraska, and then a 2% tornado risk here, back down into San Antonio and all the way up into Memphis, Tennessee. So if you're in these areas tomorrow, there's a 2% chance of seeing a tornado within a 25-mile radius of a given location. We'll have a 5% wind threat and a 5% hail threat as well for a lot of those regions. So level 1 risks out of 5 tomorrow. Wouldn't be shocked to see an upgrade to a slight. And then we get into the day 3, and we are going to have to watch day 3. This is going to be for Friday. I do expect a pretty big, significant, severe weather event for some of these areas that haven't seen it in a while. So all the way up into Montana, this is where we start to see, the severe weather pattern really shift going into the month of June. If you guys have been watching my videos every day, I've been talking about we're going to get a pattern shift. We're going to get a pattern shift. We're going to get a pattern shift. The high plains, the Midwest are going to start really getting active for severe weather, especially as we go into next week. Big change coming as we start to see a kind of a ridge develop here. So the good thing I will note as well, guys, hurricane season is starting out very slow. We always love to see that. We are not expecting any type of tropical cyclone development or hurricane activity anywhere in our vicinity over the next 7 days. So that is a really good thing. We'll take that. But if you flip it over to the other side, we're already about to get our 4th and 5th named storm of the year in the Pacific Ocean, and these are mostly fish storms. But the fact that we've already had 3 named storms in the Pacific and nothing even attempting in the United States yet, or in the Gulf from the Atlantic, quite interesting. So we saw something happen like this last year, and then we got toward the end of June, and Category 5 Hurricane Beryl came in and then made landfall in Texas and then brought one of the worst tornado outbreaks to the state of Louisiana I think I've ever seen in my life. So that was interesting last year. Yeah, we'll keep updated on the tropics daily. Here's an idea of what we could see for tomorrow. I want to pull this up briefly here. Let me go reflectivity. All right, so showers and storms are going to move into the overnight hours tonight. We know that's going to be happening. Big old line of storms gets going. And then tomorrow, we're going to watch this low. So this upper level low, this weak upper level low, if it can intensify enough, we could see a pretty vigorous, decent level 2 slight risk be introduced tomorrow to northern Louisiana, maybe up in Arkansas. To scattered supercells, sometimes these can promote some wind, some hail, some isolated tornado risks as well. So we're going to have to watch that through tomorrow afternoon. Maybe even a Boeing line segment here developing. So I wouldn't be shocked to see SPC go slight risk from like western Kentucky, far western Kentucky down through Missouri, up into Arkansas, West Tennessee, western Mississippi. We'll just, like I said, kind of see what they do specifically here. But just kind of giving y'all my thoughts out here. And then we've got, this will transition into Friday, where we could see a lot of supercells or isolated low top supercells kind of develop in this region here along that trough as that low pressure system continues to move off to the northeast here. So, we'll see what happens. This is a little bit of a sneaky tornado risk. A lot of the times, and a lot of storm chasers too will actually chase these low pressure systems that have, these little bean supercells wrapped around them. It doesn't take a lot to get a rotating storm going here, especially when you've got a decent amount of ML cape. You've got 3K cape as well. We'll have to kind of watch this setup in this area here on Friday as well. So we'll kind of keep you guys updated on that. I was looking at instability earlier as well before I got on here, and we do have pretty decent instability values going into tomorrow. Look at these instability values climb going into next weekend here, or going into this coming up weekend for our next system coming in. And then we've got a pretty big hole in our instability going into Friday. We'll have instability and moisture transporting to set up for next week's severe weather threat. I do expect actually a pretty decent shot at some significant severe weather returning next Wednesday and next Thursday across the high plains in the Midwest as well. So we'll see what happens. Here's our tornado parameters. Just kind of gives you guys an idea of where the tornado parameters are at. So you can see they're down in Texas tonight as expected. We'll see that low level shear kind of ramp up, and then we go into tomorrow and into Friday, and there'll be kind of spotty supercells out there on both days there. So we'll keep you guys updated with that. Here is once again just an estimate of some of these rainfall totals through the next 48 hours. I always like to talk about this because why not? Boom. See some pretty decent rainfall totals, and you can see really the bullseye. Where's that bullseye at? It's in Houston, Texas. So I'll be very interested to see what happens overnight tonight and what happens tomorrow morning. If you guys do get storm reports while we are off tonight, you guys can message me them, and I'll wake up to them in the morning. I'd love to see some of those storm reports. If you have rainfall gauges, if you guys have any type of way of measuring rainfall, I would love to get an update on those totals from my viewers tomorrow. If you guys want to do that, you guys, like I said, can message me. I'll look up to those in the morning and kind of, put those in my video tomorrow. We'll kind of see how that goes. I want to talk about something else here, just briefly for a minute. Let me see if did they just update day 2 first? Hold on a minute. I'm double checking on something here. Okay, day 2 did stay slight. Okay. I wanted to look at that on my phone before it came out. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for all the follows, by the way. I do appreciate it very, very, very much. We'll come back to this here in just a second. Let's talk global, because I'm never awake when we get our O-night run GFS. So here's our dip in the jet stream. So this is our 500 millibar jet stream, explains what's happening with our winds in our atmosphere, kind of gives us an idea of when we're going to see severe weather, different things going on here. You got a couple different things going on. You got a low pressure system here. This is what's going to be moving up in this direction over the next 1 to 3 days. We've got a little dip in the jet stream here, which gave us some tornadoes and some severe weather today in Montana and in Wyoming. And then you've got kind of this bulky jet streak off to the west here. We'll watch that. And then a zonal jet stream aloft in the north, keeping things kind of a little bit cooler up here. So that's what's going on right now with our jet stream. Just some different things to kind of watch out for. We go through here through the next couple of days. I really, really want to watch this setup on Friday. This would be quite interesting in terms of the wind, hail, and tornado threat. If this low can strengthen, if it's weaker, won't be too much of an issue. Will be some general thunderstorms, maybe some low and severe weather. But if we can get this low to strengthen on Friday through tomorrow night and into Friday, we might have a little sneaky 2-5% tornado risk be accounted for, like Kentucky, Tennessee, back up into Mississippi, back up in Alabama. So we'll see. kind of what happens with that there. And then we got to watch this. This is where our pattern starts to get a little bit more different. And I've been talking about this in my daily videos for you guys that have been watching every single day. Kind of talking about the shift that we're going to see as we go into the weekend here. We should start to see a change in our pattern. And so what's going to happen is we're going to have a high pressure system develop here. There still will be a little bit of what I call kind of northwesterly flow. This could give us a little bit of severe weather potentially on Sunday afternoon across Texas, Oklahoma. We'll see what happens here depending on where this high goes. But our main severe weather quarter is going to start to ramp up here where that zonal flow is at. So when you get your jet stream winds that, right over top of your ridge, you'll get severe weather that way. You can sometimes get severe weather if there's enough on the backside of your low. Just a lot of different things, like I said, we look at here in terms of, figuring out where that's going to be at. And then we go towards next week. And next week is starting to look more and more concerning for maybe a little outbreak. We'll see what happens here. The models were not showing this the last couple of days. Last night and this morning and this afternoon and tonight are the first time I've started to see this, but a little potent dip in our jet stream here. What this is going to do is this is going to allow for moisture. This is going to allow for instability. We're going to actually be looking at some pretty significant instability and dew point values in this corridor next week, which could allow for a robust severe weather outbreak potentially next week. Question mark. We'll see if that happens. Typically seeing troughing like this in the middle of June, doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. And then what's going to happen is this low is going to kind of split a little bit, and we're going to go into next Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday would be the big day to watch for. If we're going to get severe weather next Wednesday, this is the area it's going to be in: Minnesota, Wisconsin, Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, Kansas, maybe Oklahoma. We'll see here, but this will be the area, and especially up here where your jet streak kind of, where your winds transition out here, or they spread out. You get some difluence going here. You can get the chance here for some more robust severe weather. We'll see what happens there with that. And then we're going to see another thing happen. We're going to get what's called zonal flow once again here. And this is going to allow for just ridiculous rounds and rounds and rounds of severe weather. So if you live in the high plains, if you live in the Midwest, if you live in these areas right up in here, get used to severe weather. Welcome back, severe weather in the high plains, where we get a lot of our photogenic tornadoes. That's where we're going to be seeing that coming into next week. Might even see some robust severe weather, maybe down here in the lower Ohio Valley next Thursday. So this would be an area to watch as well if this low continues to trend. And then just zonal jet streams. These do promote, if you guys remember what we just had in Texas on Sunday, derechos. These type of setups do promote derechos. Zonal flow, west to east motion of our winds, parallel winds, derechos. These big windbag events are what derechos are. When they happen, they're not great. And we had kind of a mini episode of one. I wouldn't really call it a derecho, but a mini episode of one happened on Sunday in Texas. But this would be a very, very active stretch. And we do still need to watch the tropics. Not that the GFS is the only model showing something, but going into late next week, we could see some type of tropical system maybe develop down in like the Mexico and off of the gyro there. We'll talk more about that if that happens. But this is what's really interesting. If you don't like severe weather, come down here. This is where things will be quiet. If you do want severe weather, welcome to the month of June, where everybody sees zonal flow. And then there's a chance for severe weather up and down this whole entire region going into like the 20th and beyond. And that's really only 8 days out. So we can start to see that this is actually might validate in terms of our pattern here. The European has been showing it. The GFS has been showing it. But this would be the area that we would be watching for some severe weather going into the 3rd and 4th week of June. And I'll kind of talk about more of that here in just a second. Ridging. That looks gross. I don't like that. This would be really interesting going into the 4th week of June. Really, really interesting. We're going to watch this. I don't like this setup at all. This would be not great in terms of the ridging and then the flow on top of it here. So we'll see what happens in terms of our setup on the 23rd and beyond. This is still a ways away out, so we've got time to watch. This will probably change. High pressure would dominate here. Zonal flow would allow for severe weather on one side, and then we would get some severe weather abundantly on. This would be a big severe weather event over here into like Wyoming and Montana. I don't think I've ever seen something like that, not in a while. Why is it saying freeze? Hold on a minute. What? There we go. I was about to say, what in the world? Yeah, we're going to watch this going into the last week of June there. We'll see if that verifies or not. And then after that, things get a little bit more uncertain. So that's kind of what I wanted to get to you guys at. Just kind of talking about our pattern change a little bit more. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. I thought San Antonio was a perfect place to live, but I don't know. Nah, Hannah, you just got lucky tonight that you got one tornado warning out of the whole day. Yeah, we're going to watch this. Lots of showers, lots of storms ongoing, possibly a little tropical system down near Mexico late next week. But other than that, yeah, things are going to get interesting. Very, very interesting in terms of our weather going into the month here. Let me look at... I want to compare one more thing here. I'm going to be wrapping stream up here soon, guys. I'll answer some more questions before I get off here, and then I'll wrap it up here because I want to get some sleep here soon. I'm going to be tired. Euro is coming in. Let's see what the Euro is doing with this. Oh, it's not even that far out yet. Euro has the trough way lower. So GFS had the trough up here. Yikes. GFS had the trough up here. European has it lower. So that's why we don't have a risk zone quite yet for next week because it's so far out. Kimberly, maybe going into the third week of June, if that zonal flow sets up and you're on the east side of that ridge, there definitely could be some potent damaging wind potential coming into your area that third week. Let's look at, let me go CSU real quick. Did they do anything for tomorrow? Interesting. So CSU goes 5% tomorrow for tour. Wind with a slight risk up north. Day 2. I've not got much for day 2. And then day 3 hasn't updated. Interestingly enough, that'll be interesting to watch. Boy, is the supercell composite all over the board. So this is a graph, guys, of what kind of shows us, you know, our average of what our supercells could be. Just gives us an idea where severe weather could be at on an average or below average trend. Here we are right now, and then kind of here we go with our little rocky roller coaster again with severe weather going through the end of the month. So like I said, expect severe weather. Where's it going to be at? We've got to figure that out. Time will tell. Definitely, this is validating. That's for sure. Between now and the 18th here, we've got severe weather across the high plains. That's through the 18th. This is where things get really interesting. So next week, you know, this is once again a model from the Colorado State University. Does pretty good as well. I know Vanessa, I say it a lot. It's bad. I do say interesting a lot. This would be where we would be looking at for severe weather early next week, and then kind of up in this area. And then we get to week 3, and this validates 100%. This makes a lot of sense. Where we would see all of our severe weather out for the last week of June, up in the high plains, 100%. The whole state of Minnesota basically circled in a red blob. So the Dakotas, they're getting into eastern Montana. So Manders, if you're in stream, this would be your ideal setup here. So that would be something if that verifies going into the 3rd and 4th week of June there. So that's what I've got, guys. I'll go back to radar here for a minute. We can kind of just look at some things. Like I said, that tornado warning did expire. We got a little bit of rotation south of Wimberley here. But other than that, training thunderstorms, guys. We're going to see severe weather tonight, low-key. We're going to see lots of flooding. We've already got rain showers getting ready to move into the Houston metro area. So rainfall is going to be a big thing tonight. So you guys need to have alerts on your phones going to bed tonight if you're in South Central Texas, Southeastern Texas for flooding rainfall 1. If you get those flooding alerts, those are very important. May not seem as important as a tornado warning, but flooding can get you off the planet faster than a tornado can if you don't take it seriously. So do be very, very mindful of that if you guys are in those areas. Let's look at this one more time here before we get off. Got a little bit of rotation still on these storms, but I don't think it's too much of a significant issue. There's a marine warning.
A new special marine warning has been issued.
Any last minute questions, guys, before I wrap things up here? I just wanted to get on here and give you an update. Dallas, Texas could see some rainfall tonight. Not anything too significant. You guys should mostly be okay. I'll have a full weather video for you guys out tomorrow morning. I'll have a full forecast out for you guys tomorrow. Just want to get on here and get you guys an update in. If y'all did miss the update, you can watch the video that I posted before. You guys can also watch my YouTube recorded stream. We are also live on YouTube as well. It'll save it, so you guys can go back and watch that as well. Houston, Texas could see some significant flooding tonight. Anywhere, I think, personally, from 5, maybe 10 inches of rainfall could see higher than that. We'll see what happens. I appreciate that, Justin. I do appreciate all of my new followers. I put a lot of heart and motivation, guys, into these streams as well as my content that I do. Y'all know that. I am a meteorology student. I don't do this for shits and giggles. This is serious. This is real. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Also, the weather team loves you guys, and they appreciate you guys as well. So they work their butts off in here. Wero works her butt off in here. This whole team does great things. So we appreciate you guys very, very much. But get y'all some sleep. I'll have an update out to you guys tomorrow morning. Like I said, alerts on your phones tonight is the best way to go. If anybody has rainfall totals in the morning, you guys can message me them. I'm quite curious to see if there is anybody that gets some crazy numbers. But other than that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Get some rest, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.